welcome back to a very spooky edition of Comic Confidential. I'm your host, Cade, and my terrified host today is Troy.
Hey, man, look, I'm legitimately shitting my pants right now.
Yeah?
It's our very first Halloween
I
episode.
told you not to drink that milk.
I don't have a problem with milk. I just have, just general colon issues.
Oh, okay.
Let's not start it.
You're at that age in life.
Yeah. Let's not start the show out on a down note like that. Look, it's Halloween time.
It's spooky time, mate.
It's spooky time. It's a spooky time of year. We are sitting here right now, and we are recording this episode when we technically could be watching Stranger Things too. But
my God. If you're here, thanks for joining us and escaping the hold that Stranger Things would have over you.
Yeah, or, I guess the fact that it's Sunday and it did come out on Friday, you probably finished it by now. Let's be honest.
Well, that's a fair call.
I think it's only 8 episodes.
And
100% sure.
I'm surprised they're listening to this and not actually going to watch Thor Ragnarok.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Why are you listening to this
Why
podcast?
are you here?
Press pause, go watch all that, and then come back.
And then come back. We'll still be here.
Yeah?
We've got nowhere to go.
Unless this spooky episode deletes itself.
Ooh. Man, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Today is all about Halloween and spooky things, and we're going to do horror movies later and all that sort of stuff. My question: what got you into horror movies in the first place?
Oh, good question. I'll take this one.
All right,
Look.
you in the back.
Yeah, me in the back. So choose me. Look, scary movies, man. There's just like something about, and here's the thing: I like lower budget scary movies.
Yeah, right.
It's almost like I like really shit movies for the sake of them being bad, and I go in there low expectations and can always only come out on top. That's why I like horror movies.
Yeah, maybe that's the way. What was the first horror movie you ever saw?
Oh, the first one I remember.
Yeah.
Is it was a Stephen King one, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was like these I think it might have been like Killer Tomatoes from Another Dimension or something.
I don't think that's a Stephen King movie.
I'm pretty sure it is. And anyway, it's like these creatures that were like chainsaw mouths.
Yeah.
And they like flew around, and I remember these things like tearing up an airport, and I would have been like, I reckon 6, 8 years old, and I was like, Mum, this movie is scary as fuck. Turn this shit off now.
I think it's probably more likely that you were high, because I don't think that's a movie at all.
Someone out there, let me know what movie that is.
Killer Tomatoes from Outer Space. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking of Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I'm pretty sure
Maybe there's both. Maybe the Killer Clowns grew Killer Tomatoes in outer space.
Oh, yeah, it's a shared universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're all about shared universes now.
Well, Stephen King is, famous for his shared universe.
I'm going to pull you up there. I guarantee you that movie is not a Stephen King movie.
I bet you it is.
What Stephen King novel is called Killer Tomatoes from Outer Space?
Look, the name might be completely wrong, but what it is about is spot on, mate.
Fried green tomatoes.
Yes.
All right.
Green eggs and ham.
I like it. For me, what got me into horror, I genuinely don't remember. What I do remember, though, is as a kid, I absolutely loved it. And while other people might have had posters of kind of sports stars up on their wall, or maybe titties or something like that, it depends how old you are, I guess.
I was going to say, what child has titties on their wall, Troy?
Look, I didn't. But if somebody, if I could go back to myself now when I was a little kid and say, hey, dude, it's totally okay if you put titties on your wall, I would have done it. But anyway, I had this magazine. There was a magazine that came out in Australia back in the 90s, and it was called Terror Zone.
Oh.
Yeah, and I absolutely loved that magazine. I used to get it all the time, and it had centerfolds in it as well, and it was all like your horror favorites, like your Pinheads and Jasons and Michael Myers and Freddy Kruegers and all that sort of stuff. And my wall was absolutely covered in posters of these horror things. But I don't actually remember what trauma it was that got me into that in the first place. Maybe that's because I blacked it out. So
it's there's not many people out there who I think don't like horror movies.
Oh, there's a few.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think. Look, I guess if you break it down to gory, supernatural, that sort of thing. There are people that can handle one but can't handle the other, or something like that. They have a preference, or they just there are probably a few of them that hate them all. But yeah, I reckon there's a lot of people that can go, oh yeah, I like scary movies, but not if it's supernatural, because that shit's too real for me. Give me some crazy sort of
or I don't want something that I could see myself in. The situation could be real.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like a Jigsaw or something like that.
Yeah, Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Except nobody goes camping. So yeah. So that sort of thing. So
There you go.
that's our lives in horror. Now, I don't have any spooky news, but do you want to get into some news?
Yeah. We'll try and make the news spooky. How about we do a spooky like measurement? Yeah. And it's like boo if it's like bad, but boo if it's spooky.
Oh my god. Look, we will work on that.
We'll
workshop that as we go along. Well, let's kick it off with some DC news. And in this week's edition of What Caused the Internet to Shit Its Pants, the official Justice League runtime has been revealed as 121 minutes, making it the shortest entry into the DC film slate so far. After recent rumors suggested the movie might be upwards of 170 minutes long, fans went into a frenzy once the official runtime was announced. Why? Why? I genuinely don't know.
You know, we're in this day and age where a movie length can now get criticized.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, we only recently just reviewed Blade Runner 2049, which is
2049 minutes.
Yeah. Like, no, that's how many years it takes to watch that movie. Yeah. And, you know, that movie was like semi-criticized
for its length.
Yeah. And now this movie has not been viewed. No one knows if this pacing is going to be great or not, or if this length is like great or not.
Yeah.
But people are blowing up.
Well, see, it's actually like fans of the Justice League, like, you know, and you know, they're kind of these, I would call them, I'm really sorry for this word, extremists.
Oh, wow.
When it comes to
another attack from the DC extremists this week.
Yeah. I don't mean to say it like that, but they're like these you know how fandoms can get. I mean,
I've been on the internet.
You've been around. You've been on the internet. You know what it's like. And you get these small pockets of people that are very, very kind of protective of their, you know, their kind of their properties and all that sort of stuff. So there were people that were saying, you know, it came out, there was the rumor that it might have been 170 minutes. And there were people that were coming out and saying, oh, well, look, you know, the actual runtime, it's going to be 121, blah, blah, blah. And they were getting attacked for saying that the runtime was going to be shorter than the rumored runtime of 170 minutes.
Oh, man, I hate the world sometimes.
And to me, and I look, I really do understand that that's a small percentage of people that are like that kind of, you know, crazy. I don't have a better word.
Yeah.
You know, but this is kind of, this is where it's gotten to when, you know, they're that angry that somebody would dare say that their movie is shorter than it's, you know, than they want it to be, which is bizarre.
Well, what do you think? Like, now there's been rumors that the movie has got 4 hours of film time getting cut down to this.
See, this is what I don't want. Like, I don't want to end up with another Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition kind of scenario where, you know, we get this movie that's not pieced together really, like, it's not pieced together well.
Yeah, and there's so many plot holes or like just scenes that don't seem to make sense.
Yeah, and then we have to wait for this, you know, this director's cut or this Ultimate Edition for it to all make sense. Like, that's not fair to anyone.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to the DC Films universe for them to do that. It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to anybody. So I don't want it to be that case. And if we are talking about a movie that's gone from 4 hours to 2 hours, that's concerning. Like,
what if, Troy, they filmed them back to back?
Well, that makes sense. So that's the only good thing that comes out of this is if they've gone, let's do Justice League 1 and 2. Maybe they have. I would hope that
fucking blow my mind.
Absolutely blow my mind too. But what I hope is that this is actually a really tight-knit 2 hours. Because I understand, like, it's Justice League and it needs to be a big movie. But there are a lot of good movies that have come out and been around 2 hours that are world builders. You know, the first Star Wars, the first Indiana Jones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
And you know what? Have you ever read a comic and kind of felt like it was really dragging?
No, a comic?
Yeah, like a comic doesn't really work that way. A comic is always working towards a point.
Yeah, I get, yeah.
And I guess a comic movie should do that too.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want another Iron Man 3.
Nobody wants another Iron Man 3.
Except for the 90% of people who love Iron Man 3. I don't know what's fucking wrong with you.
All the Iron Man 3 fans, which is everyone in the world except you and me, I think.
Iron Man 3 fans, at me, at Comic Con Pod. Fight me.
No, at him, at Cade Moyer, or whatever his actual thing is.
No, doesn't exist.
Don't harass me on the at Comic Con Pod one.
Get him, boys.
Look, let's move on. Warner Brothers have revealed that the Raid director Gareth Evans is in talk to helm a solo Deathstroke movie with Joe Manganiello set to star. Recently reported to have been written out of Matt Reeves' The Batman movie, Manganiello's Deathstroke was seemingly on the shelf. However, reports are that Evans' pitch for the movie impressed execs so much they gave the green light for a solo flick. What do you think about this?
I love it, man.
I can't love it enough.
Yeah, this we've been wanting like a villain movie for the longest time.
Yeah.
And look, yeah, we got Suicide Squad, but that was Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
That was a bit poo-poo.
Yeah.
This is going to be that good shit.
That good shit.
This is a shit that you could get high on your own supply from DC fans.
Now, if you haven't seen Gareth Evans' work in The Raid, you are a nutcase.
Well, so you can call me a nutcase.
Well, you should really go see it. It's I think it was don't quote me. I think it's out of Indonesia. It's an Indonesian film, I believe.
Oh, yes, I have heard about this.
Yeah, martial arts slash action film set in the one building scenario.
Yeah,
et cetera.
yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Mate, this guy fits the bill perfectly.
Oh, man.
And there's been like rumors that this is going to be the Arkham Asylum story that they were originally going to do for the Batman movie.
Oh, damn.
Now, imagine that.
That would be amazing. So if he can pull off the same sort of thing that he's done with The Raid, with the very, very small budget that he had for that, and the sequel, the sequel Raid 2, which was the follow-up that was almost as good as the original.
Really?
The Raid 2 has probably one of my most favorite fight scenes of all time. The kitchen fight scene at the end, for anyone that's seen it. I think it's absolutely amazing. I think this is one of those things that, it's kind of like a please let it be true. I will give you my firstborn child if it is kind of thing.
That good.
That good.
Amazing. I am so pumped for that.
Me too, man. So give us that. Give us all of that. We'll move into some Marvel stuff. Now, just days after opening an official Twitter account for their Venom spin-off movie, Sony have now officially announced the start of principal photography on the film with a behind-the-scenes shot of star Tom Hardy and director Ruben Fleischer on set. It was also recently revealed by mocap legend Andy Serkis that a large part of Hardy's Venom performance will be created through motion capture technology. Venom is set for release October 5th, 2018. Venom, it's happening.
It's happening. Is it going to be good? Maybe. Well, it's got Tom Hardy attached to it, and I mean, Tom Hardy's pretty bankable lately.
Yeah, he is, definitely. It's got Tom Hardy, it's got Riz Ahmed, it's got Michelle Williams, Jenny Slate. There's a lot of great people involved with this movie. I hope they can pull it off.
Man, the only thing that really worries me about it is that it seems like Marvel and Sony are not on the same wavelength here.
Still
so,
to this day.
We're getting reports that this is 100% not connected to the MCU.
Yeah.
However, Spider-Man can still go in this. And Sony's like, well, no, it's kind of connected.
Yeah, this is the same shit we were talking about when this movie was first announced back in the day. And this is still going on. They still haven't figured out exactly how this thing fits into the MCU, if it does actually ever fit into the MCU, which is bizarro land.
Do you think, honestly, that they'll make it fit?
Look, I think it would be very, very hard if they didn't, or at some point they're going to have to relinquish Tom Holland's Spider-Man back to Sony if they don't.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that, because you can't, in my opinion anyway, you can't have these movies without Spider-Man.
Oh, absolutely.
And if they are going to have them connected as Tom Holland being the connective tissue between like the two sort of worlds, then you've got to share it. You either share it or you don't, and Tom Holland leaves the MCU, but we know that's not happening until at least after Avengers 4.
And you know what? If they don't share him, like if they don't share everything that's attached to the Sonyverse with the Marvelverse, I reckon we'll be seeing another Spider-Man reboot in sooner rather than later.
Yeah, which is the last thing we need.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Even though it Spider-Man Homecoming did prove so far, we've still got 2 left to go, to be the most profitable of the superhero movies this year so far.
Insane.
I think Thor is probably going to beat that by early reports.
Oh yeah, good opening weekend.
Well, it's not completely over yet, so we've got to wait until the Monday before we find out. But it is on track for a pretty good weekend. And Justice League as well. They had some figures released, some early tracking figures. That's looking for about an opening weekend of 110 to 120 million as well. So that could make some good money too. So, which you would expect, I guess.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on the motion capture?
I don't think it can really be done any other way.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of would have been pretty cool to see him running around like in a Venom outfit.
Yeah.
And like maybe just motion capture the face.
Yeah, I guess like
but Venom's so big.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of like that works because when I think of Tom Hardy, my mind always goes to Bane.
Yeah.
And even though like he's done plenty of other things, I get that. But my mind always goes to Bane, where he's quite large, quite intimidating, quite a giant human.
Not really. He was only barely over 5 foot, wasn't he?
He's 5'10", so take it easy, champ.
Look, I don't speak to guys under 6 foot.
Why are we here?
Don't know, mate.
Anyway, yeah, it's like he does have the physicality for it, and I would have liked it to have kind of to have kind of played off that a bit.
Yeah, it would have been good a little bit because I mean he's got the frame for it.
But whether he has the it's not like I'm expecting Tom Hardy to have Tom Holland type acrobatic skills or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the dude is nearly 40, so he's pushing it.
Is he really that old?
Yeah, I think he's 38.
Damn.
Yeah, he's getting up there. Is he going to do the motion capture, or is Andy Serkis talking about it because Andy Serkis is going to do the motion capture? That'd be weird.
That would be weird.
Anyway. Logan director James Mangold has revealed that a spin-off for Daphne Keene's X-23 is currently in the scripting stages. Talking to The Hollywood Reporter, Mangold spoke about where they are with the film and states the success of Wonder Woman as a reason for it getting off the ground, saying, Patty Jenkins' success with Wonder Woman only solidifies more for studios that there's less to fear with a female protagonist. He continued, the more that keeps getting hit home, that ends up giving me more space, turning around and going, well, here we are with a female protagonist. That's incredible. And what are we going to do with her? That's where we're at with the Laura script right now. So,
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I want to see more X-23 because we kind of need it for X-Force.
Yeah.
I think we need a little bit more from her. And the fact that we have no Wolverine anymore, that slot kind of needs to be filled.
Yeah. Now, do you think, though, too young still currently?
Yeah, I think they need to flash forward. And I know, Fox love doing this.
Well, I guess the easiest thing for them is the fact that they've already completely fucked the timeline.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter how they fit her in. They could go back to, like X-Force could be set in X time and she could all of a sudden be a teenager 20 years before the setting of Logan.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't really matter. No one's going to question it because we already know that it's fucked.
Yeah. And I think they should kind of play off that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Well, look, as much as I would like to see Daphne Keene reprise the role because she was absolutely fantastic, and, here we are in, it's the end of October nearly, and Logan is still my favorite movie of 2017, y'all.
Why don't you get that tattooed on you, mate?
I might have to. If Logan... No, I'm not going to do it.
No, what were you going to say?
Nothing.
No. Come on, go on the record.
Okay, all right. No, I'll do this. If Logan is still my favorite movie by the end of 2017, I'll get a Wolverine tattoo.
Oh,
all right.
I like that.
Okay, so that's a thing that's out there now. So that's gonna fucking happen. Anyway, what was I talking about? I'd like to see Daphne Keene because I really did like what she did in the movie. And, she's just a kid, but she was absolutely fantastic. But I do think that if they are going to do it, we need to either wait for her to be a teenager, or we need to flash forward.
I've got the perfect idea.
What's that?
They can do a movie of flashbacks.
Okay.
Have an older version and her younger, kind of, she's learning about herself, learning her skills.
Yeah.
Learning everything, mate.
I don't hate that.
Yeah. That would be a pretty rad idea.
That's good. I like that. I could go with that. Why not?
Do that, Fox.
Who would we like as the teenage version? Who knows? We're the worst at that, so we're not going to even try it. Variety is reporting that Rogue One star and Australia's sweetheart Ben Mendo Mendelsohn is currently in talks to join Academy Award winner Brie Larson in Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel. While his role isn't confirmed, the report says it's likely he'll play a Skrull leader and could end up being the film's main villain. Captain Marvel is set for release March 6, 2019. Mendo.
I'm down.
Give me more Mendo. I was trying to figure out the other day where I knew Ben Mendelsohn from the most.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He has that face.
Growing up in Australia, it's like I swore to God he was from Neighbours, right?
Yeah.
That was it for me. I'm like, no, he was in Neighbours for sure, man. I remember seeing that dude as a kid. So I jumped on his IMDb and I'm like, what goddamn TV show was it? And he was only in 5 episodes of Neighbours.
Oh,
so
really?
That's speaks to the impact of the Mendo, mate.
There you go.
Because I remember him all these years later after only 5 episodes of Neighbours.
Cop that, Toady.
Yeah, Toadie's still in it. What the fuck's wrong with you?
What is that guy
Get
doing?
Job, dude.
Apparently that guy's a baller, though.
Oh, he would be.
Like,
he's one of Australia's most recognizable TV celebs.
I feel sorry for that guy. I swear he's lost 18 partners.
Oh, yeah.
It's like...
Don't marry Toadie.
Yeah.
You will die.
You're the red shirt of Neighbours
Yeah.
if you like even hook up with Toadie.
Yeah. Also, his name's Toadie. So
Yeah, that's not great, is it?
what's his name? Do you know his real name in the show? Is it Jared? I want to say Jared.
That sounds familiar.
Somebody out there, let us know. The ladies from Neighbours, if you're listening, let us know.
Let us know.
Anyway, Mendo, great actor. Excellent choice for the villain if they go that way.
I love Mendo.
Who doesn't? Look, hey, speaking of good news, which we kind of were, I guess. Segue. Good news for Kingpin fans. Marvel TV head Jeff Loeb has announced that Daredevil Season 3 will see the return of Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. Now, while it isn't known whether he'll be the season's main antagonist, it does seem likely, as rumors continue to swirl, that the third season of the popular Netflix show will adapt the fan-favorite Born-Again comic arc by Frank Miller. Kingpin's back.
Boo. Spooky, man.
Oh, is this the spookiest one of the week? No, I got one later.
Oh, you got a spookier one?
I got a spooky one. We've only got 2 news stories left.
Oh, wow. This is fantastic news. I've been wanting Kingpin back forever. I'm really surprised they didn't get him into the Defenders series. I feel like that's an absolute wasted opportunity.
Well, I think it might have kind of watered down the character as well, because the series wasn't good enough for him.
Well,
if that makes sense.
They could have had him appear as the next villain for everyone.
Yeah, that's fair. Considering what they did with the hand anyway wasn't exactly great. So, when you look at season 2, there are 2 things of season 2 that really stood out, and that was John Bernthal's Punisher and the interactions that he had with Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin in prison.
Oh, damn.
So, this is the guy that needs to be here. Am I still pushing for a bullseye? Yes, I still want a bullseye. Give me a bullseye in season 3. But if it turns out it's Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, I'll take it.
It's not a bad second.
It's not a bad second at all.
Troy, nothing wrong with silver, mate.
I know. I'm more a bronze man myself. I always seem to come third. Now, here's one that we just threw in.
Oh,
because you had a little bit of disdain on your face when I mentioned it. The new Justice League Big Guns TV spot has been released.
That's very spooky, Troy. We got our first look at Steppenwolf.
Well, our first real look at Steppenwolf. Now, I have to go on record as saying I have not watched it. Now, look, am I the guy that likes to bring you the news and likes to talk to you about these things and all that sort of stuff? Yes.
I feel like you're really letting me down. And most of all, I feel like you're letting the listeners down, Troy.
Well, look.
They're tuning in week by week. I can't even speak. And you let them down.
Well, look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm just a human man. And I have wants and needs and hopes and dreams and all these sorts of things, man, that, I just need to think about myself first and go, hey, you don't need to see this goddamn TV spot, dude. You don't need to look at this behind the scenes shot. You will ruin the movie. You will Suicide Squad yourself again. And I never want to be Suicide Squadded again.
Wow. So are you going on the record again? Twice, Your Honor, in one episode.
Yeah.
To say you're never going to watch this TV spot?
I am never going to watch this TV spot, my friend.
Because if you do, you've done an injustice to all these listeners.
Fuck, when did you write that?
I just made it up, mate. I was going to drop that earlier, but I thought I'd save it.
Oh, look, it landed. You nailed it. Tell me about it then. Tell it to me. What happened? What?
Look,
was it as good as you're kind of making out that I'm missing out on?
Yes. You missed out on at least 8 to 10 sledgehammer hammer whacks.
Who's whacking who with a hammer?
Who do you think, mate? Well, it's not a hammer. It's the axe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Steppenwolf, mate. He's swinging that thing like a madman.
Is he?
Yeah,
like a lumberjack.
Like a lumberjack. Terrifying. He's great. Oh, very spooky.
Oh, we're all about spooky.
We got to see a lot more Wonder Woman, which was really, really good, but nothing that really gives it away.
Okay, now I know you were disappointed in the last trailer that we didn't get to see a lot of Flash. Do you get to see more Flash?
A little bit more.
Flash?
So it kind of hit the mark there for me.
Okay.
Got to see a lot more Cyborg.
Okay.
A lot more.
That's
so good. It kind of feels like this was a Cyborg trailer because they're kind of releasing these mini TV spots for everyone.
Yeah, which is why I cannot do it. I haven't seen a single one.
Oh, really?
I am. Look, we watch enough movies, man. We do this. I was going to say for a living, but it's some sort of living. you know what I mean? We do this all the time. We do this for this podcast. And we are savvy enough, as a lot of our listeners, if not all of our listeners are, that if you watch enough of these things, you can start to piece together the movie yourself. And that's like, I don't want to do that. I want to go in fresh. I'm the Fresh Prince. I'm not, but you know what I'm saying.
You're not, mate. Now, look, I'm going to connect like another news story that I don't know if you've done this yet.
Okay.
It's in the news. I don't read the news.
Okay.
I like to get surprised by it.
Yeah.
I like to give a raw, emotional response.
Yeah.
But apparently, Steppenwolf has been rumored to really hate Darkseid.
Ooh.
And apparently, he's come to Earth to turn everyone into parademons to go back to kick his ass.
Damn.
How good is that?
That's pretty spooky.
That's spooky AF.
Yeah, I did read another thing though, saying that they kind of they've backtracked on that and said no, they are actually like cousins or nephews. Sorry, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know what to believe anymore.
I like that theory though.
Yeah, I think that's good too. Why not? And then imagine what that sets up for Justice League 2.
Exactly.
I like it.
Because I can kind of see the Justice League defeating Steppenwolf, and then his like final warning is, "You think I was the worst? There's more coming."
Yeah, my fucking uncle.
He'll fuck you up, mate. Steppenwolf is also Australian.
Yeah, he is, in case you didn't know. So look, that's the Justice League Big Guns TV spot. It sounds amazing. I'm trying to like get it from a listener's point of view, you know what I mean? Like if I was listening to this podcast, hadn't actually seen it, how would you describe it to me? You did an okay job as possible. Now, last bit of news. Now, this is not in the slightest bit comic related in any way, but there is no way I'm not talking about this. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Michael Bay is set to produce a live-action Dora the Explorer movie, which will reportedly see release in 2019. Now, reports state that the movie will not follow a 7-year-old Dora, as she will in fact be a teenager.
Oh, fuck off!
Who has been relocated to the city. Thoughts?
Wow. I feel like the title's mixed up. It's Exploring Dora.
Oh, no.
Fuck you, Michael Bay.
You can't say that.
I can. It's on the record.
Look, this is the most...
who wants this? Troy, who wants this?
I don't know. Like, if this movie is not directed at kids, who wants it? Who is asking for a Dora the Explorer movie? Like, I understand for like whatever channel it's on, or it was quite successful.
Yeah.
It's been running for some time.
I get it. It's a kids show.
Yeah.
Kids love that type of shit.
All that sort of stuff. But like, where in your mind do you go from like, I'm going to like make all these Transformers movies. You know what my fucking next project's going to be? I'm not going to direct it. I just want to produce a fucking live action Dora the Explorer movie. But let's not, she ain't going to be no kid. Let's make her a hot 17-year-old probably.
Yeah.
Knowing Michael
Like,
Bay.
it'd be like 17 and a half.
Yep. South American or Mexican, or I'm not actually sure where Dora is. I do apologize, but I don't watch the show.
Wow.
Anyway.
Guess you're not a dad.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That you know of.
That I know of. And, you know, and she gets relocated to the city, and, you know, I guess Swiper still in it?
What the fuck is all this? What's a Swiper?
Swiper is
That's the app that she'll be using to go on her adventures.
No, Swiper is Swiper's the fox that swipes things all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think her thing is like swiper, no swiping.
Wow. You're fucking selling it for me, man.
Look, I'm not trying to fucking sell it. Michael Bay is trying to sell it.
I feel like you petitioned for this.
I am literally like, the reason I put this in is because I needed to like discuss.
Yeah, no, that's
because
fair.
This is absolute. This is mental.
Oh, hang on. Boo. Not good.
Oh, is that the not good boo?
Yeah.
I thought you were doing the spooky boo like it was good.
Oh,
I can't keep up. I don't know what your rules are.
What is it? Is that like boo no good, or like boo?
No, that's good because that's spooky.
Yeah, that's spooky.
And it's Halloween time, and that's good.
Okay.
Whereas the other boo is like, you know, it's like an actual genuine boo, like Michael Bay. What the fuck are you doing?
Boo earns.
Just give us Bad Boys 3, motherfucker. All right, well, if you haven't figured it out yet, we're getting spooky. We're getting scary. We're getting a little bit terrifying. And no, I'm not talking about the way we look.
Oh, lucky this is radio.
Lucky it's audio only. I'm talking about the fact it's almost Halloween, and we're celebrating the ancient Australian tradition of celebrating an American pastime. And we're going to talk about some of our favorite horror movies of all time. So let's get slicing. Let's get dicing. Okay, what's your first pick?
Okay, now look, I have like about 10 on my list, so I'm going to say...
Damn.
Yeah, and this is all going to be on the fly. Now, some of mine are going to be like a little bit of cross-genre, man.
Okay, so I guess that's a good opening question in the sense of, is there anything, like any qualifiers that you had as to why it made or didn't make your list?
Look, horror is so broad.
Yeah.
Because, you've got B-grade horror.
Yeah.
You've got sci-fi horror. You've got, like, gore porn.
Gore porn.
Which
torture
is
porn.
Torture porn. There's all these, like, little subcategories. You got your supernatural horror.
Yeah. You got zombies.
Yeah, you got zombie horror.
Specifically.
Yeah. There's so many little subgenres to kind of say, like, I'm only doing horror. It's like, well, is that a slasher film?
Yeah.
Is that, like, what really, like, defines it? So, my rules... I opened them up, and I'm sticking to them this week, mate.
All right.
I got a little bit of backlash, saying your rules and then breaking it right away.
Yeah, like right away.
Well,
all right, well, let's see how you go, because
things,
I don't actually really trust anything that you say anymore after last week. You broke my trust.
I'll earn it back today, mate.
Okay.
So, my number 5, and like, I don't know if these are really going to be in order. These are just like great movies.
Yeah.
Because how can you rate stuff?
I'll probably save my most favorite for last.
Yeah.
But the rest, yeah.
The rest are kind of like just fillers,
Yeah.
All fillers, all thrillers.
Ooh.
There you go, mate. You can keep that
You're
one.
on fire.
My number 5 is Alien.
Alien.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So this movie was full of practical effects, which is what really made it scary, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There was like an actual sense of like, I guess, horror. Scary shit, mate.
Yeah.
True horror.
Yeah.
And the fact that we don't see what we're up against for so long in this movie just makes it even scarier. And then when you see this xenomorph, mate, you're done. You're dead.
I think the good thing about this movie in particular is the way the director did it, in the fact that, he essentially tortured his actors.
Yeah.
He kind of put them through hell, and the kind of the pain and the suffering and all that sort of stuff that you see from them is legit. It's quite genuine, because they have all been through like the ringer, which I think is pretty amazing. And yeah, like some of the practical effects, like you literally have guys dressed in alien suits.
It's amazing.
Like running around. They had like, I can't remember the exact number, but they had numerous different suits to do different things.
Really?
Yeah. And so, so they had those set up, and like, I think that is a large part, the way he takes all of that and then creates this really sort of claustrophobic atmosphere.
And that's the thing about this movie is, you're on a spaceship. There's nowhere that you can run. No one's going to hear you scream.
Hey, the tagline.
Tagline, slip that in. That's a bonus point. And the fact that when you see this xenomorph, man, you think it's like just there.
Yeah.
But then it opens its mouth, and then another little bit more just comes out, and you're just like, I'm fucking done.
I'm done.
Like, just kill me, man.
It's got a head in its mouth.
Yeah. How do I go up against that? It's got acid blood. What the fuck can I do?
Yeah, I like that. One of my favorites.
It's fantastic.
Sure. You can't deny it.
Still holds up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. And followed with a sequel that was equally as good. A little bit more heavy on the action side of things rather than the terrifyingness, if that's the word. It's not. But yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. What about you, mate? What's your number 5?
Look, there's no numbers.
Okay.
We're just throwing these things out. Look, I'm gonna go modern. I'm gonna go more modern to kick it off, because I want to throw out a couple like. When I think about horror, man, I think about the 80s. So I'm a classic horror guy, right? So I'm a Freddy Krueger guy. I'm a Jason Voorhees, et cetera, et cetera.
I get you.
But, I need people to know that horror is still alive and well today.
I like this, man. You're speaking to me.
Yeah, and that, there's still, while we're out of the golden age, I think we're coming into maybe a new one.
I think we are.
The dawn of a new golden age of horror. And the one I want to talk about, it's a zombie flick. It's 2016. It's international. It's from Korea.
Oh.
Train to Busan.
Good choice.
Damn, son. This was recommended by a number of people, and I didn't want to have to, like, I missed it at the cinemas because it was a very, very limited release, and I didn't want to, like, magic it because I knew, like, you definitely have to have the right subtitles and, like, all this sort of stuff. So I wanted it to be like, legit. I guess is the word for it. So I had to wait. I did have to wait quite some time before they dropped it on iTunes. But as soon as they did, I was there and I got it, and it did not disappoint. This would have to be one of the dead set best zombie flicks I've seen in my life.
Really? Because I haven't seen this. It's on my to-watch list, and I've heard it's absolutely amazing.
You have to. And it's more than just a zombie film, and like there's more than, you know, just the gore. It's the relationship between the dad and his daughter and all this sort of stuff. There are some great character elements to it, but it's just like, it is just non-stop. From like start to finish, it is intense, it is terrifying, it is heartbreaking, it is amazing. If you haven't seen Train to Busan, goddamn, you go. Go now.
Are the zombies on the train?
Yeah, so it's basically, it's kind of like an infection that breaks out.
Right.
And it's kind of like they have to go through the cabins to try to, to basically, get away from the waves of things that are coming, essentially. Like, so it's kind of, there's always a threat because you don't know, like, who's been bitten or who's been, whatever, or, things like that. And the fact that they can, contain some of these action pieces, or like not action, but horror pieces, I suppose, to just a cabin of a train.
Yeah. Very claustrophobic.
Again, very claustrophobic again.
Yeah.
And even when they do get out into the real world, it ain't great. It ain't great out there. It's not just the train.
It's like a tragic story.
Yeah, for sure, man. So if you haven't seen Train to Busan, go see it. Can't recommend it enough. What do you got?
I'm hopping in the time machine, mate. I'm going back to the 80s. My number 4, and it's going to be A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Damn.
Yeah,
Which one? The original?
The original.
Okay.
The original. It was the less campy of them all, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and
probably... Sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, probably until Wes Craven kind of tried to retcon it a little bit with Wes Craven's A New Nightmare.
Yes.
He went a little bit more straight-laced again, took away the camp. But I like the camp, man. Like
Do you?
That, yeah, for Freddy Krueger, man, for sure. I'll tell you a story once you're done. I'll tell you a story about it.
Yeah. Well, I remember this was one of the first horror movies I saw as a kid. Man, what was my mum doing to me? She's like trying to like maybe get rid of me, scare me to death. Don't ever go to sleep, mate.
Well, don't forget, Freddy Krueger is a child sex offender.
Exactly.
So,
well, alleged.
Alleged.
He never had his day in court.
That's true.
You're kind of innocent.
He just got burnt.
Yeah, well, got burnt big time.
By the system and by the locals.
Wow. If this was around today, boy, heads would roll.
Heads would roll. Literally.
But yeah, this movie was like graphic, man, but it was also terrifying. It kind of made you not want to go to sleep.
Yeah. Two things I remember from this the most would be the waterbed scene.
Oh, how he gets pulled into it. Oh, man.
And then the freaky wall.
Yeah.
There's a freaky wall with I think Freddy Krueger's glove is like poking out of it
and
stuff like that. That's what I remember the most out of that. I absolutely love the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Yep.
One of my favorites of all time. However, I have a weird favorite out of the lot.
Oh, what is it? Freddy vs. Jason?
No, like that's kind of cool.
And that wasn't actually that bad.
No, it wasn't. I didn't mind it. Robert Englund has gone on the record to say Jason did beat Freddy that day.
Of course he did.
He is, in fact, dead.
Oh.
And Jason is the better killer.
Really?
Yeah. He went on record to say it. Mine is Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master.
Oh, okay. To elaborate.
Well, I don't know like what it is about this, but this is kind of one of these ones where, now, look, I'm relying on a very, very old, faded brain.
Yes.
Not a memory. The brain is old and faded. Trying to remember this movie because I haven't seen it for the longest time, but I do remember that this is kind of one where Freddy goes up against a girl that can actually fight back. Dream styles. And it's pretty cool. It was one of the favorites for me. And as I got older, I realized that it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But for me growing up, that was my favorite one. I like the fact that there was someone out there that could match it with him, but it's still Freddy. And, he's going to win in the end.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I remember the Nightmare on Elm Street series, man. That was on TV.
I don't know about this.
What was it called? It was called... I can't remember what it was called. But it was kind of like these stories that were set kind of in the Nightmare on Elm Street universe.
Yeah.
And they were related to Freddy Krueger in the sense of, like you mightn't see him necessarily in each and every episode, but they all kind of came back to him somehow. But like Robert Englund hosted the show as Freddy Krueger. And it's kind of like he was there sort of like, oh, let's take a look at another story. And it's like, all this sort of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and he came back in and like popped in and popped out of the show every now and then.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the series was called. I don't think it was like a Nightmare on Elm Street, the series or anything like that. It could have been. Somebody let me know on the internet. You guys are good at that sort of thing. But yeah, I remember that as well. And one of the very first show bags I remember getting was a Freddy Krueger one as well.
There you go. For those who don't know, a show bag is essentially an overpriced bag of lollies that you buy from a local fair.
Yeah.
Full of $1 toys and things like that.
Oh, no, this one was good, man. This had an actual Freddy Krueger glove in it.
What?
Yeah. I don't know how much my mom paid for it, but, she got it for me, and that's all that counts.
That's amazing.
Horror changes lives, man.
It does, man.
All right, I'm going to jump back forward a little bit. Now, I did struggle a little bit in the sense that I wasn't sure how much I should cross genres. And this is pushing the crossing of genres about as much as I can push it. And this is Shaun of the Dead from 2004.
Oh, I had a feeling you'd slip this in.
Yeah. Now, this was never not going to make a list of mine that involves horror. I don't
feel like you're breaking the rules.
Well, I know, but it's
and I'm going to let it slide. I broke the rules last week. You get one rule break.
Okay.
And then we're even Stevens,
look,
mate.
It is classified as a rom-com, like a romantic zombie comedy. So there's the zombie element there, and there is some actual gore. So it's not like there's not horror elements to this.
Is it a boo or is it a boo?
Well,
scary.
Well, look, I understand that it's probably not classic horror, as it were, but man, I would be hard pressed not to talk about this movie.
Is this a movie? Okay, how about this? We'll hit refresh on the rules. Would you watch this on Halloween?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, yeah, that's cool then.
Yeah.
I'll let it in.
Absolutely no way you wouldn't watch this. Like, this is the type of movie that you could watch every day of the week. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that agree with me. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are saying, dude, that is not a fucking horror movie.
I'm one of them. But I'll let it slide, mate.
Look, I don't really need to talk too much about Shaun of the Dead. It is absolutely fantastic. It came out in 2004, if I didn't say that already. Directed by the great Edgar Wright, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost as Shaun and Ed. And it was pretty amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen it.
Everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
My number 3, mate.
What do you got?
I got a slasher. Not like a horror slasher like what you're thinking.
Yeah.
This is 28 days / 28 weeks later.
Nice.
This is
good call.
Yeah, mate. This is, I'm going to say it on the record, my favorite horror movie, zombie movies of all time.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I'd give you 28 days. I don't know about 28 weeks.
Well, I combine them because I like how it's a story builder.
Right.
28 weeks later is the much weaker one. 28 days is genuinely terrifying.
Yeah. And
the deceit that we get from one of the main characters in that movie just makes me go, you fucking deserve everything you get, mate.
Yeah, look, this for me, you know how I came across this movie? I was in the city and I was with my girlfriend at the time, and she's like, I want to go and like, I've got to go and do this thing. I'm going to go and do that. What do you want to do? And I'm like, oh, you know what? I might just watch a movie.
Really?
I didn't know what was on. I like went to the cinema and I had a look and I'm like, 28 days later, like, what's that about? I had a quick read of the synopsis. I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good. And then I went in there by myself, just checked it out. It was like a midday session or something like that. There was no one else in there.
Is this before like smartphones were around, before you could like check out a trailer?
Well, what year was this movie? I actually do have it written down because it was on my list.
Oh, wow.
2002. There was smartphones, you goddamn son of a bitch.
I'm pretty sure there wasn't.
In 2002? There wouldn't have been like, oh, no, actually, there might not have been.
I remember.
You're right.
Yeah, that's like
that's
3310.
That's Motorola Razors and stuff.
Yeah, man, that's when that shit was the good stuff. I remember like Bluetooth just started coming out then.
You had infrared still.
Yeah.
Like you were transferring things through via infrared. Amazing times, 2002. But yeah, that's how I came across the movie, and I just happened to walk in and it absolutely blew my mind. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. And I went back to my girlfriend and I'm like, you have got to see this movie. And she didn't like it. And that's why we're not together anymore.
Good choice, Troy.
Dodged a bullet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, the zombies in this movie were genuinely terrifying because they kind of broke the rules of what a zombie should be.
Yeah.
You know, they're not like mindless, dumb things. These are like carnage machines.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to run at you. I would be dead in this zombie universe in no time.
Yeah, well, it's a rage virus, this one.
Yeah.
In particular. So, yeah, these things aren't, they're not chasing brains or anything like that, like your classic zombies. They're just angry. They're just really, really angry.
Yeah.
And they want you dead because of it. But, yeah, I remember the first part where he kind of wakes up and he's, like, in London, and it's completely barren. There's, like, no anywhere.
That's awesome.
So good. And then he walks into the church. And he's kind of like looking around. He makes that noise, and that head pops up, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck this! I'm out." But I stuck around. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Not a fan of there being like dick within the first like 2 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But it's like it's cool if you're going to put it in there somewhere. Put it in there somewhere. Just probably don't put it within the first 2 minutes because I don't know what to expect. Dick is the last thing that I'm thinking's coming.
Good point.
All right. So look, I do have. I want to kind of go away from the zombie thing a bit.
Cool.
Because it is easy to just, it's probably one of, if I'm talking about horror,
it's an easy go-to.
It's an easy go-to, and it is probably one of my favorite sort of subgenres.
Absolutely.
Of horror, as it is with a lot of people. So I'm going to go to. Oh, this is tough, man, because there are so many good movies. I don't know where to put it. Look, this is the movie that freaked me out the most as a kid, and this is why it makes the list.
Oh, okay.
Now, this freaked me out until I was an adult, right? It doesn't so much freak me out anymore, but let me tell you, right up until I was a dead set adult human male, I was still afraid of this movie.
Okay.
And that's 1973's The Exorcist.
Oh.
Now, this thing is just freak city. It's like the music is there. It's like there's the creepy kid.
The score is the score makes this movie.
Oh,
man.
100%, man. And there's like this kid, and that turns into this terrifying like demon that just like projectile vomits and head turns around and floats in the air. You don't need to see that shit as a kid. And that's when I first saw it. I remember, I think like my family was watching it. Like it might have been my mom and she had some friends over or something, and they were watching The Exorcist, and I came out and I'm like, oh, what's happening here? I'm like, no, I'm out.
Oh, fuck this.
I was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And then I was terrified for the rest of my life.
That's an absolute fair call, because I remember when I was younger, my mum tried to put... What is with my mum putting on these movies to terrify me?
I don't know.
Oh, man, I think I need to go see a therapist or something.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it took me the longest time to watch this movie. I reckon I only watched it about 3 weeks ago, probably.
Oh, damn.
No, I watched it well and truly well before that.
Okay.
But yeah, terrifying movie. Doesn't hold up to like today's kind of horror, but back then it was scary AF, mate.
See, like, I haven't seen this for the longest time. Not out of fear, I swear.
I swear,
you guys. Not out of fear, but yeah, it's just like I just remember this being like there was another movie that will like if we're just talking about movies and our favorites and all that sort of stuff, a very similar movie in that vein is and around the same sort of time, it was 1981. Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, did the exact same thing to me as well. When I was a kid, man, that scared the shit out of me. The thing is, it pops up out of the cellar, and it's like little faces there.
Oh, man. Fuck that little girl.
Fingers. Yeah. Whoa.
No, not like that.
Yeah, phrasing, Michael Bay.
Yeah, size.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, that was freaky as shit as well. Like, to me, that was
Have you watched the remake of that?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Look, it's not as good.
It's good, but then at the end, it gets ridiculous.
Yeah. What I liked about the original, though, is the series that it spawned. So Evil Dead 2 was better again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of brought that kind of horror comedy element to it. And then we go a little bit crazy and left to center with Evil Dead 3, which is Army of Darkness.
Yes. Which
is kind of like taking it... It's kind of almost like, let's get rid of the horror and let's talk about just the comedy, and let's let Bruce Campbell be a crazy person for whatever. And then, of course, we get Ash vs. Evil Dead, the series.
You watch that TV show?
I do.
Oh, good stuff.
Absolutely love it.
Tried to get into it, just couldn't. And it's probably because I haven't watched those movies for the longest time, so I was so disconnected from it.
Yeah. It's one of those shows where I just don't know how it makes it on TV, because there is just some stuff that you're just like... How?
Why is someone paying for this?
How is this being screened to viewers right now? Like, this is some weird disgusting shit.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. I threw 2 in there, but only like out of nostalgia.
Yeah, of course. I'll let it slide.
Thanks, mate.
I'm very forgiving on
You are.
Spooky Day.
You're next.
Number 2, mate. Now, we're getting to the pointy end here for me because I'm running out of movies. And actually, I'm running out of spaces to talk about movies. So I'm going to go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The remake.
The remake, yes.
I know you were going to bring this movie
and
in.
I am not talking about the all right version.
No.
No.
Which is bizarre because that did have Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey, and it
launched their
piece of
careers.
trash.
It launched their careers, Troy.
Crazy.
I do believe that was both their first feature film.
Yeah, I think it was.
And it blows my mind to
that
think
such
that
a shit movie can give us 2 goodish actors.
But if you think about it, and you think of these new horror movies that kind of have they're pretty crappy, and they have these new names in there.
Yep.
These could be the new Renee Zellwegers of the world.
And yeah, they could. Why
They
not?
could be.
But you're talking about the Jessica Biel
one
remake.
Yeah, I thought this movie was amazing.
Yeah, you do. Look, I lay your passion on me because I know how much you do like this movie.
This movie, and I kid you not, it kind of turned me into a fanatic of the whole story behind it.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it kind of turns out that this, I had to do the research. I was like, is this really based on a fucking true story?
Yeah, it's not.
I was hooked, line and sinker, mate.
Yeah.
I was a little bit younger when this movie came out.
Spoiler alert, by the way, it's not.
No,
Just-
it is.
No, it's not.
But, yeah, genuinely terrifying, amazing all the way through. The pacing is great. Great characters, great villain.
Leatherface.
Yeah. Mate, unbelievable. And then, yeah, just the whole fact that it was kind of one of the first movies where I was like, this is based on a true story.
Yeah.
It just kind of that's scary.
Yeah.
That's ooh, scary.
Look, I would... I don't disagree because I do like that movie as well. I think as far as modern remakes of absolute classics go, it's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
But I am too much of a fan of the original.
Yeah.
From 1974 to go past that. So Toby Hooper's version, who we did lose this year, I do believe.
Yes.
Unfortunately. And that movie to me, it's just so kind of it could almost be real, in the sense of it's almost like this weird kind of, it's not found footage, but there is little bits of it, here and there. And I think it's more at the start or the end or something like that. But it's just kind of the way it's done. It's it looks cheap, but that works for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the first time you see Leatherface, it's kind of holy shit.
That's the shit. You put that poster on your wall.
Oh, I had a Leatherface poster on my wall.
There you go.
Yeah, I fucking absolutely loved it, mate. So, yeah, I would be a fan of the original more than the remake, but I do get the appeal. I get Jessica Biel, too.
Jessica Biel.
And that was right around the time when
Amazing.
Jessica Biel was at her peak.
Well, she was just coming out of Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
And this was kind of her Miley Cyrus breakout thing.
Yeah.
To say, I ain't this bitch no more.
I'm sure that's what she had in mind.
It absolutely was. I did the research.
Oh, really? Nice. All right, so what am I up to then? What number am I?
Number 2, mate.
Number 2. All right, okay, look, I have to be cutthroat here. I've got to be cutthroat. My number 2 is going to be... Oh, man. God damn it. It's going to be Cabin in the Woods from 2012.
That's not a bad movie.
I fucking love this movie.
That was that most... I'm going to say, this is absolutely, on the record, that was the biggest dark horse horror movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I gave it no credit, and it fucking blew me away.
I knew a lot of people had spoken good things about it.
Yeah.
And I do need to give a very quick shout out to Paul from the Countdown Movie and TV podcast, because he is the guy that kind of spoke about it initially when I heard it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I might check that out.
Yeah, right.
And because of that, I checked it out. It was fucking fantastic, man. This is a movie that it kind of plays on the same sort of horror tropes that you used to, here and there. Cabin in the Woods, obviously, teenagers, all that sort of stuff. All the usual sort of shit that you expect, except it's kind of like set amongst this corporation that kind of like does this shit to these people. And then you get the end scene, like the end kind of like the third act where they kind of like, I don't want to spoil it, but
it's okay. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Oh, look, it's not that old, so I don't want to spoil it, but it's kind of like you get to this point where it's like you think, oh, okay, yeah, look, we've seen a couple of cool monsters and all that sort of stuff or whatever. And it's like then you see every single fucking monster you can think of ever. It is fucking amazing, and the ending is brilliant, and I love it. So my number 2.
That's a good number 2.
That's a very good number.
That was on my list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Sorry.
That's all right.
Stole your thunder.
Forgot to mention a young Chris Hemsworth in this movie too.
Thor is in it, and also written by Joss Whedon.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was. So there you go.
There
Lots
you
of
go.
comic booky type of things happening there. That's how we made the show happen. What do you got? What's your number 1?
Man, this is tough. This is real tough. Okay. The Conjuring.
Damn, haven't seen it.
Haven't you?
No.
This would have to be one of the scariest series of recent times.
Really?
And it's kind of
enough to be your number 1.
Easy.
Really?
Easy.
Okay.
I was going down my list and I saw it and I'm like, that's you, baby. You're my scary boo.
In more ways than one.
More ways than one. Amazing, Troy. It's about an elderly couple. Well, it's based off an elderly couple. So it has some like real life connections, but it's like makes it even scarier to me.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like paranormal investigators / one's a priest, one's just a lady.
Yep.
And they kind of go down the whole Annabelle track here.
Okay.
And it is amazing.
Now, isn't this whole world connected?
Yes.
The Conjuring and the Annabelle, and there's that nun thing. I can't remember what that's called.
Oh, the scary fucking
The
thing.
Babadook? Is that connected?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. You got to get onto it, Troy. This is genuinely terrifying stuff.
I will. This has got Owlman.
Yes.
From Watchmen in it. More comic book references. This is how we made the show work. So that's, look, I have seen it there for a long time. Like, The Conjuring, and I've heard The Conjuring 2 is even better than the original.
It's fantastic.
Or, potentially as good, and Annabelle as well, and Annabelle Creation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I will get onto it at some point. I do have, like, I'm in a position right now where my partner right now is not the biggest fan of kind of, she probably prefers the more gory side of horror, if anything.
Yeah, right.
So, like, she's a big fan of The Walking Dead and all that sort of stuff.
So like,
zombies, gore, all that sort of stuff.
Like the Hostel series.
Yeah, all that
like
sort of stuff's fine. But when it comes to, like, the supernatural kind of thing...
That shit's
like
too
it's
real.
a little bit too real, a little bit too close to home. And then you try to go to bed and things are, like, making noises and shit.
And you got a creaky house too, mate.
You got a creaky house. So she's not the biggest fan. So that's why I have to kind of, like, find time to watch these by myself.
Yeah.
And then I got to watch them by myself, and that's kind of, like, scary too, so...
Yeah, you get, like, little goosebumps.
Now, look, number 1 for me.
Oh, here we go.
Now, this is hard, and I did have to leave some fantastic ones off, and we will talk about those in honorable mentions in a sec. Look, I'm going to go back to zombies. I'm going to go back to comic book movie directors.
I know what this is.
2004's Dawn of the Dead remake.
Amazing. This is like the epitome of horror movies and zombie movies in one.
I don't know about the epitome of horror
mate,
movies,
I've called it.
But as far as zombie movies go, man, this is such a good movie for me. And look, is it sacrilegious to pick the remake over the original?
Not at all.
Is it sacrilegious to pick, Zack Snyder over George Romero?
No.
Well, I was going to say probably, but it's just so like it's a fresh take on an old idea. I just really liked the way it was done from start to finish. I watched it again last night purely because I knew we were going to be doing this. So I'm like, oh, look, why not? Like, I'm pretty sure this is going to be my number 1.
Yeah.
So why not check it out again?
I was pretty confident on not putting this on my list because I knew you would say it.
Yeah, well, it's just like, it's one of those things again where they play off this, the slow-moving zombies are gone from the original, and we've got these fast-paced kind of like, rage zombies again all of a sudden. And the opening scene alone is worth, the price of admission. So, when the main protagonist or whatever, she makes it home and all that sort of stuff, and she goes to sleep and they wake up the next morning. It's that creepy little girl with the bitten-off face,
Oh,
it's just
man.
like, it's just nutso from then on in. And then they make it to the mall, and you get all these weird kind of characters like joining in and stuff like that. And you get Phil Dunphy's.
Yeah, I was going to say, did this ruin Phil Dunphy for you?
Well, this was pre Phil Dunphy, but you know, once Modern Family came around, I'm like, I know what you're about, motherfucker.
Yeah, you ain't this good
You're
guy.
a freak. You're a freaky dude, Phil. Yeah. So you know, I don't know. I can't speak enough about it. I think you know James Gunn wrote the screenplay, as well, which is you know all these comic book references coming out. This is the most non-Zack Snyder looking Zack Snyder film I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like he really changed after this.
Yeah, and it doesn't end on. Well, look, I like you know, it's an old movie. It's 13 years. If you haven't seen this movie, it doesn't end on a high note exactly. It ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, but you kind of know what happened.
Yeah, and this is what I really liked about this movie is it kind of crosses off all the things that you think you would do in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, first thing I would do is I'll lock myself in a shopping center because, you know, you got everything you need there.
Yeah.
You got your bed, you got food, you can like, it's pretty fortified. It's probably one of the safer places you could be.
Yep.
Cool. Check. Okay. If I was going to escape, I would like rig up some awesome vehicle to get out of there. Check.
Yeah.
And
That's
then,
very realistic.
Yeah. And then once I got out of there, I'd probably like go on a boat, go to an island.
Yeah. Because zombies can't swim, right?
That's right.
Wrong.
Motherfucker. And
Wrong.
what happens? They all die.
You did. Well, we don't know that.
Well, we don't know that.
but they
it's-
probably all died.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. That's my number one.
That's a good pick, man.
You got some honorable mentions?
Oh, boy. Let me grab my list again.
All right. Well, I'll throw out a couple of mine while
Okay.
you do that. So, look, I've dropping the thing off my list was one of the hardest things I've done.
Yeah.
No pun intended. 1982, John Carpenter, Kurt Russell, absolutely fucking amazing, amazing movie. Not having it in the top 5 is criminal, probably, yeah. But hey, it would have been number 6, we'll say. But I love The Thing, so that's great. Saw from 2004.
Yep.
Kicked off 38,000 movies
Oh
after
my
that.
God.
But the original, created by James Wan, Aquaman director. James Wan and Lee Wanell, a couple of Aussie guys.
They made this while in college.
Yeah, and this movie is fucking insane. I did not see the twist at all.
No one did.
Coming towards the end. And Jaws from 1975, Steven Spielberg. Come
nice
on,
one.
man. Come on, one of the absolute classics. And I'd probably have to throw in a Friday the 13th in there at some point as well. I'll say number 2, because number 2 is where we actually get to see more of the real Jason that we know, with the machete and whatnot. Whereas, you know, number 1, it's a little bit less than that.
Fair call.
What do you got?
I've got Scream as your classic teenage slasher film.
Nice.
You know, that campy horror. So, you know, fits in there. But, you know, definitely not on my top list. I have got The Descent. Apparently, this movie is terrifying. I've never seen it, and it's one of my things that I have to go
your list
because
if you haven't seen it.
I've seen so many like highlight reels from this,
Yeah.
and that's spooky. For me.
Look, I have heard as well that it's quite good.
The Grudge.
Oh yeah,
The Grudge. Oh, the noise.
which one though? The Korean one? Oh, sorry,
no.
the Japanese one.
No, the American version.
Oh,
I
one
like
of
it.
those guys.
This is also going to enrage you. Then The Ring.
Oh no,
Yes, all of them.
Ringu.
Sinister, Insidious, The Shining.
The Shining.
The
Yeah.
Shining.
Personal favorite.
Yep, absolutely. And The Mist, another Stephen King classic.
Oh, nice. What did we miss? What did we leave out? Let us know. What are your favorite horror movies of all time? Did we scare you? Probably not. I was probably more scared than anyone because I was remembering my time watching The Exorcist as a kid. What the hell's that all about? Mums.
And that's going to do it for another episode, Troy.
Spooky Halloween special.
Look-
I'm assuming, you know, I don't know.
I'll be surprised if people made it this far, Troy. It's been very spooky.
What I expect from you, though, as the producer of this show, I want lots of
Jump scares?
jump scares, and I want
Okay.
like ghost noises. What noises do ghosts make? You know, ghost noises.
Okay.
Not the booze.
Oh,
The other stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever it is ghosts do,
We'll throw
put it in
some-
this goddamn show.
We'll throw some Moaning Myrtle in here from Harry Potter.
Yeah, do that. Look, Halloween. It's not really something that we get into in Australia as much. It's definitely a US thing, and the UK do get involved as well.
I only learned that today. The UK are heavily into Halloween.
Yeah, they love that shit.
We're getting there.
We're getting there slowly.
However, it does annoy me when like kids come knocking on my door.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like, come on, dude.
It's like, motherfucker, I don't do this, but I appreciate it. Good job, kid. Now fuck off.
And I always have chocolate handy, so have this thing. Yeah.
I never have chocolate handy.
Because you always eat it.
Yeah, that's right. Num, 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 num.
Well, I'm lucky enough that I have a giant gate and fence around where I live, so there is no chance of kids coming in.
That's fantastic.
Which is how I like to live my life.
Yeah, that's great.
No chance of kids coming into it. Yeah, so that's it, man. Look, hey, Halloween, we did it. We survived. We got there in the end. It was kind of like, it was a bit touch and go sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't forget to let us know what your favorite horror movies are. We want to know.
Yeah. Troy, what's some shows we got coming up in the next couple of weeks, mate?
Oh, why would you put me on the spot like that?
Because I knew you were struggling. So, look, it's going to be a busy time for the podcast in the next couple of weeks because we are doing Thor Ragnarok next week.
Yeah, we're doing Thor Ragnarok next week. We have some special guests the week after that, which I'm looking at you like, are we supposed to mention that?
Maybe.
Probably not going to do it just yet, but we do have some special guests coming on. We have the Justice League review after that.
Oh, my God.
Next 3 weeks. Thor Ragnarok, Justice League. Then the week
What
after,
date does that fall on?
that is the 17th of November, my friend. Well, that's when we'll record. That's the Friday. That's when The Punisher is also released, which we'll be talking about a little bit later.
Oh, man. The next couple of weeks are just like set in stone, really, aren't they?
Absolutely orgasmic. Then we have episode 98. You're not even here for it.
I'll be
I don't
away
even know what I'm going to do.
I'll be in Vanuatu, sipping cocktails, mate, thinking of you, watching amazing TV shows.
I've been doing this show now for, roughly, this is episode 94, so I think I've missed 4 episodes while I was in Europe. So that's 90 episodes. I've never learned how to edit. I don't know what I'm going to do with this guy when he's away. I'm just going to make it up. You're probably just going to get one long show with no cuts, and we don't even know what's going to happen then.
You're going to have to like hum the intro song.
Yeah, it's probably just going to be white noise for like 45 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
it's not like you're going to release the episode with 20 minutes of no audio at the end.
Who did that?
Oops.
What? That was an actual thing. And then after that, we wrap up The Punisher, and I do believe you're back for that.
Wow. So I'm going to have to cram that in.
You're going to have to cram it in.
Now, Troy, I noticed in that little schedule that there was no mention of Stranger Things.
Now, there is no mention of Stranger Things, and there's a very good reason for that. I don't know when we're going to do it, to be honest with you.
We have like maybe one episode that it might slip in, so...
Look, we did get to wrap up the first season of Stranger Things. We did do it quite late because my fabulous co-host here took so fucking long getting onto it. Then he finally did, and it was the best thing. I think he like named it as one of the greatest TV shows ever, and it took him like half a year to get onto it.
Mate, we all make mistakes, okay?
So we might get to a Stranger Things wrap up at some point, but I don't know when we're going to do that. One thing we're definitely going to do is our 100th episode, which drops after The Punisher. God damn it, that's going to be an absolute extravaganza. That's us for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I think we've got a Star Wars review after that, and then we're done.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's busy. That's a busy time.
Yep.
Who should we get in on the 100? We got to get some guests on the 100.
We'll get some guests on the 100. Hey, if you're a guest out there and you want to be on a 100th episode, let us know.
Hit us up at ComicConPod.
.com. Let's thank some people.
Okay, let's thank the listeners, subscribers, and reviewers. Finally got another review, Troy.
Up to 85.
100 by 100.
100 by 100.
That's what the listeners in the listener community are pushing for.
So that is 15 more reviews in 6 more episodes.
Look,
6 weeks, 15 reviews. You guys can do it. If anyone can, you guys can.
It's a big ask, but you know what? We got great listeners.
We do have. We have some of the best listeners in the world, I would say.
Most definitely.
So yeah, thank all you guys for doing that. You can find us on all sorts of social media outlets.
Name them.
Like Facebook, for one.
Okay.
We're on that. Just search Comic Confidential. We also have the Comic Confidential listener community in there as well. You just search that. Jump in. Don't be a bot, and we'll let you in. And then we also have Instagram and Twitter, which are at ComicConPod. Search us on there. And we have a website.
We have a website. That's ComicConPod.com. Past episodes, future episodes, and everything in between.
Exactly.
If you want to support the show, you can do that too.
patreon.com/ComicConPod.
And you can do that from as little as $1 a month.
That's right. And on top of everything else happening, there is Potterheads. That's out there. It's out to the world now. If you haven't subscribed to Potterheads, that's our sister show. It's all about Harry Potter and the wonderful magical world of Harry Potter, I guess.
Wow, that's great work.
What a fantastic promo. Look, Amy, Kirsten, they read the books chapter by chapter.
Discuss it. Give you fun facts. Break it down.
Then they'll watch the movie at the end and they'll review that too, I'm thinking.
Yep.
So that's a thing. That's out there. Please jump on there and subscribe. And amongst all this other stuff that we've got to get done, there is also Netflix and chat. I know I keep talking about this.
But you know what? The wait will be worth it. Like, Troy and I are working our schedules together because you know what? We're adults. We got things to do.
We got adult things to do. I still have 3 seasons of Danger of Doctor Who to watch. That's going to take priority. I'm sorry, you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? That's fair. That's 100% fair.
Netflix and chat is coming. Bad Boys will be the first movie unless Bad Boys leaves Netflix before the time we get to put this show out. But it is coming. It's got a theme song already.
It's got to get done.
We've done that.
We spent a fortune on that.
Yeah, we spent, how much was that?
$11.
$11. 11 hard-earned dollars for a brilliantly written intro song.
Are you doing the one for Comic Confidential still?
I'm trying. I am trying. It's not as easy as you'd think, like creating like brilliance.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Look, that's it.
That's it. We're done.
You now know what we're doing up to episode 100. So enjoy that journey.
Yeah. Put it in your calendars.
Every week, Sunday, we're here. If you're new to the show, that's what you can expect. Those things. Anyway, thanks for listening. As always, I'm Troy.
I'm Cade.
And this has been Comic Confidential.
Boo.
Yeah, peace.
Piece your pants. Because I'm so scary.
Nice one.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. So I want like mad, like spooky drops.
Okay.
In this episode. I don't know how you can do that, but just make it happen. At least one at the start.
Okay.
I think you should do like a spooky intro and then drop the normal intro. Do you know what I mean? Like you do kind of like a spooky, like a, you know, like a, I don't know what the things are. I can't do, like, you know. I do voices, man. I don't do sound effects. Yeah, do that. Make that happen, you fuck.
If you love this podcast, then head over to comicconpod.com to check out the other incredible shows on our network.
You can also support us on Patreon from as little as $1 a month.
You'll get early access to all our shows, plus secret supporter content that's not available to the public.
Head over to patreon.com/comicconpod to find out more.